I'm presuming that this poem is a kind of prologue to the rest of the book. And one of the things I'm interested in hearing you talk about is just the role of the poet in relationship to what the poet knows, what kind of knowledge the poet carries with him.
Yeah, that's a great question, Michael. I wrote the poem out of my love for the epistles of Paul to the Corinthians and the Ephesians and all of those epistles, and it occurred to me when I was reading them that Paul speaks from a kind of knowledge, whereas I speak from a kind of unknowing, and I think that the poet writes in a condition of knowing, but not out of knowledge, and I make I make a distinction between the two in my mind, because I don't think the poet has to have any special knowledge, but the poet has to be able to access a condition of knowing to write the poem in. I always have the feeling that when one is writing the poem, that the poem spends the knowledge as it is being written, so that there's nothing left afterwards. So really, in a way, the poet doesn't carry anything away from the writing of the poem to help him write the next poem, because it's all spent in the writing of the poem.
Do you think in some ways that's why you'll go back to moments again and again, because after you do write a poem, not only do you not take anything away, if I'm following what you're saying, but there's also a sense of forgetting, that there's kind of that forgetting then demands that you go back, and if it's remember, or perhaps what it is even more, especially in your work, is to pay attention.
Yeah.
I wanted to, in your work, about the idea of paying attention to, if I can call it experience, and the way that you pay attention to it is through a kind of prayerful attitude. It's as if prayer is the way to cock yourself, to pay attention. Does that enter into it?
Yeah, very much so. I think the condition of prayer is is a state wherein we have a kind of focus, and yet we have a very wide peripheral attention. And somehow it seems to me that the good poems are enact that kind of condition, where we are very focused, very concentrated on the one hand, and on the other hand we have a very wide periphery, wide awareness of the...
Let's see, I can get an easy one here. One more question and then I'll close with a... Yes?
I thoroughly enjoyed everything thus far, but do any of your poems rhyme?
Do any of them rhyme? Yes, I think I'll read you a rhymed poem. I'm writing rhymed poems. They're Damn, I thought this one rhymed. It doesn't. Okay. No. The answer's no. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what. This is the thing about rhyme. Okay, all art. I'll keep it simple. All poetry. I'll keep it even simple. My poetry. That's too. No, poetry. Poetry is finally a negotiation between probability and chance. Once you start a rhyme scheme, the probability factor goes way up. You see, if you start a pattern and you say, this is A, B, B, A, B, B, A, B, B, A, the reader's going to say on the fourth stanza, they're going to, I bet it's A, B, B, A. So I bet the probability goes way up. And then you got that chance factor. And every time you hear a rhyme that thuds, that doesn't work, it's because it's overly probable. So you have to court the chance factor. Is this making sense, you guys? This is the thing about formal poetry. For instance, if you write a formal poem, 14 lines. If you write a sonnet, right? 14 lines, somewhere there's got to be a volta. This is the form, the sonnet form. It's got 14 lines, iambic pentameter. Somewhere there's got to be a turn, a volta, they call it. So the minute you say I'm writing a sonnet, you go, okay, probably 14 lines, probably iambic pentameter, probably about love, probably a volta somewhere in the middle or at the end.